Welcome to Reggie Sports Talk in the Morning. I'm your host, RJ Kruger. Thank you for joining us on this Thanksgiving week. What a great time to have my four favorite things in the world together. Some great food, friends, family, and some football. Football on Thanksgiving is amazing. What is not amazing is when a bad rule ruins such a great game. Today we have a new guest to the show, a friend of the show from the beginning, and he's making his first appearance. We are welcoming TJ Alexander to the show. TJ played football his whole life, and he finished his career at Olivet Nazarene University, where he was a safety. He graduated from Olivet last year with an engineering degree. And TJ and I are going to talk about a rule that we hate, why we hate it, and what we would change about it. Without further ado, I present TJ Alexander to the show.
Thank you. So, my rule that I would have to change, I've had a long, somewhat hatred, I would say, towards it. I'll just give you guys a little story. Back in middle school, I was coming off the edge to attempt to block a field goal. And when I was coming off the edge, you're going as fast as you can. And I missed the ball, but I managed to just enough clip the kicker. And since then, roughing the kicker, running into the kicker has been a rule for me that I just cannot stand. I struggle with it. Anytime I've been a quick guy all my life, so I've always been an edge guy in situations like that, whether it's a punt, whether it's a field goal, extra point, anything like that. And so that's the rule I would love to change. Specifically with the rule, what I would like to change would be making it so that there is some sort of intent or clear distinction of intent to block the kick. If you can prove that someone was trying to block the kick, I feel like then, running into the kicker shouldn't be an issue. If it's like trying to travel through a crowded amusement park and then find the correct person and tap them on the shoulder without touching anyone else, like a crowded lobby of a hotel or something like that. And just being in that situation, I know how difficult it is not to even, come close if you miss the ball. Because if you do touch the ball, for those of you who don't know, if you do touch the ball and then you touch the kicker, it's not a penalty. There's no issue with that. But my issue is, it's milliseconds. Someone could have, touched the ball and it not be a penalty if they had too big of gloves on and maybe the tip of the glove hit it. And so that is my proposed rule change, specifically, like I said, because I've struggled with it. I know other people do. And I have a few friends who are kickers, and I know they're tougher than they like to put off and seem to be. So what do you think about that, RJ?
Yeah, I agree. When you first said you want to change a roughing the kicker rule, I was like, you want to blast the kicker? My cousin's main phrase is what he's always said is he wants to train his son to either be a punter, a kicker, or the long snapper because it's a penalty if you hit any three of them.
Yep.
And you still get paid all the money to be a real football player. I think also, like you said, when you touch the ball, it's not a penalty. But if you barely miss the ball, it is a penalty. Mm-hmm. I kind of want like the roughing the passer type rule. Because if you finish your hit and you're within 2 steps of when the quarterback threw the football and you finish your hit, it's not a penalty. I want something like that. Like if you're within 2 steps of when the ball leaves the kicker's foot, it shouldn't be a penalty because I'm gonna injure myself trying to stop my momentum from hitting you. And how many people's ACLs will tear? How many people's this or that's going to get injured by them trying to stop their momentum coming off the line like that?
I think that's a big thing. Like that's something I even forgot to mention now, but I was thinking about is like the amount of times I've left my feet before the ball's kicked. You almost have to in order to block the kick. If you're not close enough, which a lot of times you got to leave your feet. Most block kicks probably come from people who've left their feet. Unless they're insanely quick or just got through lucky. But if you're in the air and, maybe he just short kicks the ball so he can get it off quicker because he sees you coming or something of that nature. Of course, you might run into him, but like I was saying, you're in the air, you're airborne. They want us to, put on like a parachute or something. I don't
How are you
like
supposed to stop yourself?
exactly. No, so that's definitely it's like I said, it's frustrated me. I know it frustrates other people, and I understand it's a delicate issue because they are a vulnerable player, just like we were talking about with long snappers or punters, kickers, just in general. Like they have their head down, just like a quarterback is vulnerable when they're throwing. Um, but I feel like we can find some medium ground because at the end of the day, everyone's vulnerable out on the field. We're playing football. It's a hard hitting game. We know the risks that go into it. And so I feel like there should be a happy medium, a happy mid ground where, we can make some contact. Of course, we're not trying to, blow out the guy's leg or something, but make some contact. It happens. It's football. And, we both live to fight another day because neither one of us are getting asked to do something crazy that might injure ourselves, like we were saying, like stop your own momentum and things like that.
Yeah. And I think also so many kickers are known to just flop.
Yeah,
Like
of
you'll
course.
dive and then you'll be like right here and they'll purposely land on you and then flop backwards to get the 15 yards for their team. And it's
Of
like,
course.
that's not fair. Like,
Like,
come on. Like they're
yeah.
purposely getting themselves in situations.
You don't want to make that part of the game. You don't want to make acting part of the game. Exactly. No, I like I said, like that's why I would want to change it. I can't just can't stand for it. But I'm interested to hear what would you change?
So the rule I would change is the whole overtime period itself.
Okay, okay.
Overtime in the NFL sucks.
Yeah, I agree.
Right now, it comes down to a coin flip 98% of the time.
Wow.
And the fact that a team that wins a coin toss can just drive down the field and score a touchdown at the
Hmm.
end of the game stinks.
Yeah.
2 years ago, Patrick Mahomes lost the AFC Championship and possibly a Super Bowl ring because his defense couldn't stop Tom Brady.
Hmm.
And Patrick Mahomes never got a chance to tie it up. And you can tie in the regular season, which also stinks. No one likes to tie. TJ,
Hmm.
how did you like tying in your professional career?
Well, only happened a few times, but every time I always just wish there was more time. I guess like it's not as glamorous, or you don't feel as good anytime it comes out as a draw. At the end of the day, the point of a game is to prove you're better than someone. In some sense, I don't want to say that in a way that is condescending or anything like that, but that's the point of a game, is to win. There's going to be a winner, there's going to be a loser, and when it comes out as a draw, as a tie, it just doesn't seem it almost doesn't seem fair for the time and effort you put in. If you've already put in your hours and all that, I feel like you should be able to have a declared winner, or maybe they run out of time, they need to do a tie for the night or something, maybe they postpone the game. I'm not saying I have all the answers or know the solution per se at this moment, but I definitely agree with you. I think there should be a way that's better than what's going on right now, because I can't I know if I was in that situation, um, playing a game, lost a coin toss, and just knew at that point basically that was the game. Like if we had our strength in our offense, maybe I guess you could put the argument out that you should have a better rounded team, but I would be extremely frustrated if it came down to a coin toss and I didn't have the chance or the ability to showcase what personally I could do, or someone else on my team could do.
I agree. So let me tell you what I think the NFL should do for their
Okay.
overtime periods. My suggestion is one extra quarter. That's 10 minutes long still. That's what they do now, 10 minutes. But I want you to play out the whole 10 minutes full. Um, each team would still get their 2 timeouts and a 2-minute warning. You could still do the coin flip to decide who gets the ball first in that overtime. Um, and then it's just a normal 10-minute quarter of football. Rules would be the same, like going into halftime or the fourth quarter at the 2-minute warning. Reviews then are in the booths, everything like that. Otherwise, the 8 minutes before the 2-minute warning, coaches could still use a challenge if they had one left or anything like that. It's just basically a fifth quarter of football that will have the same rules as the second and fourth quarter when it comes to stoppage time to make everything easier.
Yeah.
If the team's tied after that, I want to do a shootout style overtime and no tie. And so my thinking of that is something similar to what the XFL had planned to do. And what I want is you get one play from your opponent's 5-yard line where you need to score. And each score would count as 2 points. And then you go back and forth until one team does not score. So like the college football where one team will score, one team does not. The home team will always go second in the shootout to give them a little bit of a home field advantage after the other team's gotten to choose a coin toss twice in the game. And then it's just a back and forth. I scored, now they scored, now we didn't score, but they scored, so the home team wins.
Okay.
That's the type of overtime I want.
I like that. I think that's really fun. It's really exciting. It's really explosive just because, it's such a short, fun, like pow, pow, pow. And like you said, shootout, just like hockey. I love watching that. There's times that that's sometimes more interesting than the actual game because everyone knows the game's on the line. Things get really intense. And you just maybe even see a different playbook, they got to pull out different things. And I think that's a great idea. I would love to see that. And I think especially right now with a given situation that the league is in and I guess that we're all in with COVID, I think it would be a great time for the NFL and other sports just to experiment with things like this, with both like my roughing the kicker and with your overtime. I think it would be a great time where they can kind of learn and grow and develop as as a franchise organization, whatever you want to call it, and play around with it, make a few changes here and there. I think it would be a smart time to do that, where we're all interested and eager to see some new things and spend more time on our couches than we even have before. So I like that idea, though. I think that would be smart, having just that extra quarter, because then it's very simple. Sometimes that's the fix for things, is to make things simpler or more simple, I guess. And I think that would be easy for people to follow, easy for people to understand, and then both teams also possibly understand it better and know the risks and rewards of what they're doing. They can play it more strategic, possibly. They know what's going on, basically. And I think that would make a lot more sense for viewers and for athletes.
Yeah, I think also just some of the plays that I'm already thinking of with like people on the Bears, that the Bears can run from the 5-yard line trying to score a quick 2-point conversion in a shootout style. Like something like we've seen Tariq Cohen when he comes back, throw a couple passes, do something like that, or like putting Akeem Hicks or like Khalil Mack back there and having them just handing them a football and letting them just bulldoze over some people. I think some creative and fun things will happen in those types of plays.
Yeah, there's things that will happen that you won't see, anywhere else in a game. And I think that would be super interesting and exciting to see.
Yeah. Well, TJ, thank you for joining us.
Anytime.
I appreciate your roughing the kicker rule change. I agree it needs to be done.
Thank you. I agree with yours as well.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today on Reggie Sports Talk in the Morning. What rule would you change in the NFL? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell us in the comments below what you would change. Which one of our rules did you like better, or did you like both of them? Did one rule you think need a little bit more tweaking, something else you would do? Let us know about it. Also, stay tuned. We might be getting some t-shirts out there. You could rep your Reggie Sports Talk in the Morning t-shirts. We'll see what happens. I heard someone special in TJ's life might be helping us design those. We'll see. See you next week on Reggie Sports Talk in the Morning as our guest Nick Kruger and I talk about the college football playoffs and what they should do, how they should change that. See you next week.